Well, thank you so much for this very timely gathering panel discussion. Unfortunately, there are not many of these. Very rarely, as the situation involving US-Iran has dominated headlines, and Pakistan has also found an opportunity to advance mediation and conflict resolution, benefiting not only Pakistan but also regional stability and global peace. And we see from this situation how intertwined regional, global security, economic issues are that are, hurting and harming everyone more or less. Even here in the United States, unfortunately, inflation is rising, and it has hit the wallet of taxpayers in a way that we haven't seen recently. The direct cost of this war so far has been estimated to be $25 billion, and then indirectly between $650 billion to $1 trillion to only the United States. Now, calculate the cost to the rest of the global economies, especially those of the bottom billion being countries like Afghanistan, war ravaged, and so much at the mercy of regional stakeholders such as Pakistan and Iran, and as well as extra regional players whose unfortunately misaligned interests and incentives have turned countries like Afghanistan into protracted conflicts of geopolitics. In case of Afghanistan, now we have had conflict for over 4 decades involving primarily, of course, extra-regional players. We know from the 1990s, 1980s, of course, 2000s, principally Pakistan at the heart of this. First, of course, 80s facilitating US-led Western war against adversary communist Marxist Soviets and their Soviet-backed regime. And then, of course, the aftermath of the withdrawal in the 1990s, where Pakistan principally supported the warring Mujahideen factions as it is former proxies, and later created the Taliban in 1994, and then ultimately brought the Taliban into power, as we know, in 2021 when ISI chief went to Kabul and installed their proxy in search of achieving strategic depth in Afghanistan, which it declared a victory for Pakistan, including its prime minister, who had been working, Imran Khan, with Ambassador Khalilzad, appointed by the Trump administration first time, and then the Biden administration, who retained him to transfer, unfortunately, this growing young democracy to an extremist terrorist network sponsored by Pakistan's rogue military security and institutions, sadly now much to the detriment of Pakistan's own long-term peace and stability, which Ambassador Durrani alluded to, unfortunately, which has come back to haunt Pakistan. So, with that, summary background, let me dive directly not into, description of today's problems, not into, declaration of commitments to connectivity, which over the past 20 years we've heard. And we're not short of those commitments from the 2002 Declaration on Good Neighborly Relations with Afghanistan, underpinned by non-interference, one of the core commitments that we know, which was never enforced, to a bond agreements, to the RECA, regional cooperation. RECA, I've just forgotten what it stands for, but it was a mechanism for regional economic cooperation in Afghanistan, to the Heart of Asia process that was established in Istanbul, to the quadrilateral security coordination QCG involving Russia, involving China, Pakistan, the United States, and Afghanistan, to the rest. So, not short of mechanisms, not short of declarations, not short of agreements that we have signed with Pakistan, with India, with China, with the United States and NATO allies and the rest. But